nature and art, an ancient combination that makes the Umbrian landscape one of the most beautiful in Italy. We're in Brufa, in the municipality of Torgiano, surrounded by expanses of specialist vineyards that cover its hillsides. An idea was born here in 1987, the Wine and Art Route, together with a cultural event, Sculptures in Brufa, which gives an original, new appearance to places transformed over time by skillful human hands. From then until now, some of the most renowned international contemporary sculptural artists have chosen this place as a natural site for their permanent works. Brufa has thus assumed the appearance of a continuously evolving exhibition workshop, which stretches from the symbolic entrance of the Porta di Castelgrifone Gate by Eliseo Mattiacci, along streets in which the sculptures have become key features of the urban fabric. Space revolves around them. Like in front of the slender, motionless, steely statue La Montanara, the Mountain Woman, by Aurelio de Felice, or the powerfully dynamic figures of the bronze bulls and serene stone of the sculpture Brufa by Massimo Pierucci, as well as Primavera per Brufa, Springtime for Brufa by Umberto Mastroianni, a bronze whose agile, compact form represents a fragment of a starburst. A space in the town is an ideal setting to represent the tension between good and evil of Volo Frenato, Restrained Flight, by Valeriano Trubbiani. Tronco, Trunk, by Giuliano Giuliani. A stone tree, reduced to 2 hollow travertine logs, can be seen in a recess between the bell tower and the facade of a church, as a sign that is strong yet simple at the same time. L'Equilibrista, the Acrobat, by Marcello Sforna, is a graceful young woman balancing on a hoop. Real unreality in search of perfection. The sculpture Modulo L, Module L, by Nicola Carino, between the public space and the private area of the houses opposite, varies its appearance according to the light and the colors reflecting on the steel. A bronze totem structure and an African marble base are condensed into Sursum Corda by Joaquin Roca Rey. The contemporary art tour offers new and surprising visions in which the echo of ancient traditions lives on, such as the hard work of the inhabitants, evoked by Marco Mariucci's sculpture L'Uomo di Brufa, Brufa Man, in the square of the same name, which recalls the farmer's return home from his labors. As he drinks from the Fontanina, the little fountain by Pietro Cascella, who knows if he would recognize the ancient symbolism of the snail, which sits with plastic elegance above the travertine marble basin into which purifying water flows. From the fountain we pass to Macina Umana, Human Millstone, by Paolo Pasticci, which refers to the origins of civilization, olive oil, flour and wine. The millstone has 2 sides, one concave and one convex, like human beings, in the dualism of life and death, good and evil, and light and shadow. With Un Volo Impossibile, An Impossible Flight, by Federica Marangoni, the Wine and Art Route is enhanced by an aesthetic installation which the viewer enjoys through its light, a neon string that symbolically prevents the kite from flying. The signs of this artistic utopia continue through fields and meadows and in the picturesque views over the surrounding plain. These start with the emblem on the road from Bastia Umbra, Contro tutti I terrorismi, Against all terrorism, by Ettore Consolazione. A warning, now more significant than ever, which is ideally linked with nearby Assisi, place of universal peace. From the memory of local occupations to the modern living witness of sculpted material and form, the huge stone bulk of Serena di Tuoro, Tuoro Serena by Mario Parker, with its rings that seem to trace the orbits of the planets, stands motionless in the heart of the countryside. Thus, instead of a specific itinerary, the visitor is presented with the play of combinations and suggestions expressed by the volumes, styles and architectural forms of these sculptures en plein air. Town by Agapito Miniucchi, a visual trajectory stretched towards the sky, comes into view. The space of the sculpture emerges from the material to liven up the natural surroundings. An old solitary olive tree is enclosed in the sculptural setting of Brufa 04 by Mauro Staccioli. 3 rustic masonry discs protruding from the ground recall the rural buildings. A surprising wonder of the mind, Alone by Gino Marotta, is a harmonious fusion of the natural and artificial. The artworks liven up the landscape with the anxieties and hopes of the contemporary world. This is a visible fact in the imposing sign of Arc-en-Ciel by Carlo Lorenzetti, 1998. A large red bridge emerging from the greenery that seems to recall us to unity between heaven and earth and between humanity and nature. Associated with it, although with a different parameter of interpretation, is La Porta di Dioniso, the Gate of Dionysus, by Nino Caruso, which with its classical Greek references seems to speak the universal language of welcome. Those who would rather take a sensory route can simply set off from the Torri, Towers, by Bruno Liberatore, which mark the start of the sculpture park for those arriving from Torgiano. You can walk in among its peaks and have fun exploring its deep clefts. You can listen to the evocative sound of the wind that passes through Il Tempio delle Voci, the Temple of Voices, by Mirta Carroli, and breaks like a wave on the modern installation Vibrazioni, Vibrations, by Tito Amodei. A luminous spiritual impulse projected towards Assisi on the horizon. Or again, you can see your reflection in the play of mirrors and syntheses of sound and colour created by the artist from Perugia, Giuliano Giuman, who, with Janue, was inspired by music to recreate a microcosm of integral ecology. Il Grande Segno, the Great Sign, by Loreno Sguanci, can be seen isolated and immobile along the small elevations of the hill where the lines are gentler. Its sinuous shapes on a wooden beam 10 meters in height stand out in the distance. The ridge of the hill is traversed by a steel geometric presence, Ara, altar, by Teodosio Magnoni, which is reminiscent of a plough, an altar, or even the helm of a ship. An invitation to look at the sky and discover up above a cloud raised up on a steel structure that turns with the wind, Le Nuvole di Brufa, the Clouds of Brufa, by Federico Brock, appears in its iconic simplicity. A large upright circular structure, Broken Circle, by Beverly Pepper, invites the visitor to pass through it, to sit down, to feel surrounded by a protective shell, and to think that anything is possible. We have reached the present. The 30th edition of Sculptors in Brufa, the wine and art route, will open in midsummer with the environmental sculpture I Due Mondi, the Two Worlds, by Hidetoshi Nagasawa, a point of balance between his Eastern culture of origin and Western culture of adoption, blending mythical elements and religious beliefs. Thanks to the quality of these works and the artistic commitment of these great sculptures, beauty becomes a concrete and visible reality, discernible to the eyes of all. It becomes a memorial to relive each year and remains as a sign and symbol of human civilization.